Good evening, everybody. Crafty Chris here again with another Scrap Your Scraps. As you saw in the opening picture, there was a package of pre-cut, die-cut shapes that I had for years and years and years. Hung on to them, didn't know what I was going to do with them, and then I just pulled these guys out because they were an interesting shape and reminded me of chevrons. And so I thought I would do something with these tonight. So if you do not have a package of ancient die-cut shapes that you want to get rid of, then you can simply use triangles, squares, whatever you are able to create to mimic the technique that I'm doing this evening. This is going to be a more masculine layout. And the first thing I'm going to do is decide where my center line is. And I have myself covered up with a mat because I'm in the middle of several different projects right now. So I am going to find my halfway point the old way, the old-fashioned way. And I'm going to do one at the bottom and one at the top. So with my pencil, and the pencil is buried under one of the projects, I'm just going to mark my 6. Make sure I'm even. So there's my little point for my 6. And then I'm going to do the same up at the top. Now this paper I'm noticing isn't exactly 12 inches, so I'm hoping that it's not going to look too off. And then of course I'm going to draw my line between the two. And I will have to draw it right to the edge because my pattern goes right to the edge on both sides. So I'm just going to take a light line down the center. I will have to do some erasing as I go because it will, the line, well, we'll see if the line shows or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Now I'm going to have 2 other lines on either side of this, but I'm going to do my first row and see where I end up. And that'll tell me how to space my other lines of decor or whatever you want to call these. So my pattern is going to be blue, excuse me, burgundy and gray. So that's what the repetitive pattern is going to be. Now noticing that with the white paper it's really got these looking dark, but they're not as dark, and I'll show you at the end of the session. I'll bring it up to the camera and you'll see that the color is not quite as dark as it looks there. Alrighty, so I'm going to start with it going vertical, but it's actually a pattern that will go horizontal. The reason I'm starting vertically is because I can eyeball better the center of the circle if I'm doing it this way. If I'm turning it sideways and doing it this way, my lines don't generally go as straight. So you're using your favorite adhesive, and you don't have to really adhese these much because this is just your background, and then we're going to go over top. So just make sure you don't get your adhesive falling off the edges. If you want to use glue, that's perfectly fine as well. So I'm finding the very tip and I'm eyeballing. And I think, yeah, I really love my mat that I've got covered up. I just want to see that. Is that straight to me? Sure. One way we can check, because it's really important to get the first one going, is from there to there it's 1 5/8, and from there to there it's 1 and almost 5/8. You know it? It's just under, and it's just under. Good. Beautiful. Okay, so there I am. There's my first piece. The first piece is the scariest one because you want to make sure that your pieces are all lining up. You could draw a line, but it's too much erasing for me. All right, so now the next piece is literally going to just slip in there and touch all the sides, including the top at the top. Because it's a circle here, this should fit in perfectly. And I'm just going to keep going with my color combination. Oh, I have this new gizmo that I got that holds a tape runner, a big tape gun, very easily. And I purchased that from Paper Crafters Workshop, and you've seen their ad on my tabletop before, so I will put that up again once I find it under all my stuff. Sorry. Now, there we go. I'm having some arthritic pain with this weather. It's not rainy, but it keeps threatening to rain, and that seems to be when I get affected the most. All right, make sure that fits in there. And you see how this is laying out now? So we're just going to keep going. You might have to trim some of the little bitty bits that hold the circle on the inside and hold the outside to another shape. I did the outside edge, and by the time I had finished doing the outside edge, I was no longer interested in taking off little bitty bits, because I think there's about 18 individual pieces, and it really is a lot of trimming. But as long as the outside edge looks good, that's all I'm looking for right now. Okay, back to blue. Like, imagine this, if I had to cut these, that would be kind of arduous. So the fact that they were just kind of in the package waiting for me to do something with them was very cool. And I'm covering up my lines so there's no erasing. Geez, couldn't be a better setup. All right. Now, I'm going to pause the camera so you don't have to watch me do the rest. And I will be back with you when this line is finished, and we're going to figure out how to measure our next lines. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back, and I've done my red at the bottom, and it goes off the page just because of the nature of the size of my squares. And if they were squares, they would be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 squares. Triangles are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 3 3/16. My suggestion is to make a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 square and cut it into triangles if you're doing it that way. Okay, so if we look at our design now, we have some left over here, and we have some open space on this side. I want the pattern to go directly across. So I'm going to leave this guy down here hanging off, and I'm going to put this guy up here hanging off as well. And you'll see what happens after I trim it off. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 individual pieces, which is 6 of each color. Now, so I'm just trying to balance this at the end there. Okay, I know I'm going to trim this off. Wait till you see the magic of this particular measurement. Oh, I want my long scissors, because when you're trimming a long cut, you want long scissors. So there goes that guy right there. Okay, and on this side, I'm going to bring this piece, and the magic of math will have it sit perfectly in that spot. So the pattern finishes, and then we just trim off the excess. Make sure everything's nice and tight. And now our pattern is complete. We have it on both ends going off the page. So you can imagine the piece that would be there and the little piece that would be there. So that does change the order of our colors. It makes gray coming first, but for the purposes of laying out our pattern, definitely want to use the blue as your starting point. All right, so now I'm going to start my next one, but my next one I have to measure because I don't want to cross, and I don't want it to be so evenly spaced that, you know, there's one going down here and one going down there. It may end up that way, but I prefer that it not. So we know that the width of one of these is almost, well, let's call it 3 3/16. All right, so we have to have that much space, and we don't want them to touch. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a little, I think I'll do this so you can see me drawing it. Okay, I'm going to draw a line that is more or less 1/8 of an inch from this edge. And I'm just going to draw it at around there and around there, because that's my crossing point for measuring over for, I'll explain once I've done this. So we're doing about 1/8 of an inch. Let's see. Make sure that 1/8 of an inch looks good everywhere. Yeah, and then I'm just going to draw a little line there and a little line here. So you can't see my little lines, but there they are. So I'm just doing them up there because from there I'm going to measure the center of the long line I'm going to have on either side, and there at the bottom. So I want to keep at least 1/8 of an inch between one row of pattern and the next row of pattern. So now we have our 3/16, and 1/2 of 3/16 is 1.5 and 2. 1.5 and 1.5. Oh my God. Okay, math. So 1.5 for sure. And then that 3/32. Good luck with that one, but just eyeball in the middle of your 16th inch. So there's a 1/2, there's a 16th, there's a 16th, so I'm measuring, and there's a 16th, so I'm measuring in the middle of my 16th. So I'm going to draw it on here. Okay, there's my line there. Now let me draw that image for you on my ruler so that it is a little easier to understand. I'm just going to get my eraser here. There we go. And so 1.5 and 1/2. Oh, you can't even see it. Okay, I'm going to put a pen mark on there. So there we go, that's better. Alrighty, so if you're looking at this, you can see that I have 1.5, and then I have a 16th, and then 1/2 of a 16th. So if you're using the measurements I gave you before, which is a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 square, you're going to want to put your line 1.5 plus 1.5 16ths. So, which is actually 3/32. But you don't need to know that. Alrighty, so now again, I'm going to do my line from top to bottom. Get back on the camera so you can see what I'm doing. And that should look fairly equal on this side and that side with your lines that you have previously drawn. Doing a nice light line there. Same measurement on this side. Okay. And this side. And drawing our line again from bottom to top or top to bottom, your choice. I like to line up my pencils points and then draw towards me. There we go. Now before I move on, I'm going to erase these because they could end up showing. But I don't want to use my electric eraser. Oh, too many projects, too many projects. Okay, I'm going to use my electric eraser but without the power. There we go. So I don't want to see any of that line. Oh, something is on there. Okay. My battery's dying, that's why I don't really want to use it. And I'm just going to put my eraser up a bit more. These are fabulous tools. I don't know if you've seen them, Couture Creations. It's an electronic eraser, and you just hold it down. My battery is dying, but when your battery is very good, it takes all the work out of erasing, except that my battery's dying, so you have to have a nice battery. Charged battery. And it takes, let's see, one of these AA, I think it is, AAA batteries. Oh no, there's more than one in there. We got two in there. Two AAA batteries, but it is a savings grace. I really love this little tool. Guy that came up with it is brilliant. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're ready to go back, and at this point you could change your pattern if you chose to and do maybe starting with red, shifting it, or starting with gray, shifting it more. I'm going to stick with the pattern being consistent. And the only reason I'm thinking that is because we've got a lot of action going on with the actual pattern of the pieces. If I keep the colors consistent, it won't add that extra kind of zigzaggy sort of eye contact that you'll have with the page. I just find that it'll be a little bit calmer if the colors are all in the same order. And did some crummy adhesive there, so I'm going to fix it a little. Alrighty, now we're lining that up. Seems to be, I want to make sure I've got that circle in the middle. Whoop. There we go. Let me just look at it. Yep, liking it. There we go. And I am just going to continue down to the bottom, following my pattern. And I am going to turn the camera off and do this off screen, and we will get together to look at the finishing up at the end again. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so here we are finishing off. I've started with my blue. I've gone all the way down to the burgundy. I'm going to leave that there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the top and the sides of the gray and a little bit more of the sides of the gray, just in those little narrow pieces. And I'm going to stick it up here, aligning it with the top of the blue and the other gray. All right. Then I'm going to trim this off. I always trim with my right hand. Long scissors. There we go. Now this is going to go on the bottom edge of this, making sure that it looks balanced. Awesome. And we're going to trim off the excess. Okay. Alrighty, so now you can see how this is working out. I am going to finish this last row and I will be back with the actual laying out of pictures and some decorative elements. See you shortly. Alrighty, so now we have our finished layout. We can't see any of our dots or lines that we created. So now we got to decide what way we want to see it. Do we want to see it vertically? Do we want to see it with the arrows going down? Do we want to see it pointing the other way? Or do we want to see it with the arrows going up? I'm kind of liking this. Originally I was going to have the arrows pointing to the left, but I kind of like it like that. Now, got out my ring of card sizes so we can play with a little bit of where we want to see photos. Now, I'm thinking masculine, and my husband does chores around the house, usually, sometimes, occasionally, when I bug him. So let's see what we have here. So we could have a 5x7, and it's white on white, so it's a little hard to see. And then maybe a 4x6 or a 4x6 in the opposite direction. I think that's too big. I think I maybe want to go with a 4x6. I like the idea of something going vertically across this horizontally across this vertical field. I think that gives me a great feeling. Okay, so we can even bring it right down to the edge and right over to the edge, leaving a 1/2 inch-ish. Then I still have some room for a title, journaling, but I think I could use another photo in here. So let's see what else we have. I like these rectangles, considering these are actually square-like items. Let's see. And I think I am going to mount these. I want to select something like this, something like this, and something like that, maybe. No, too organized. Let's go back to moving these a little closer. A little bit off, about 1/2 inch off on either side. There we go. Or what if we spread that out? Line everything up across the bottom. Not really feeling this one today. I think beginning to see something coming around there. That's part of it. And but that leaves a huge amount of space, so I do want to go crossing over and having some trouble with this one today. Maybe I just do 4x6s. 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 Put these guys back on the ring. Oops. And I think I want to do one more 4x6. And then 4x6 that goes down there. I think that that is pleasing my eye the best. Yep, we're going with that. All the same size 4x6s. Okay, and I just can't decide if I want to mat them or not. Let's see. Let's see if I have a pretend photo. Let's pretend I have a photo here. That's without matting. Or that's with matting. I think I'm going to do it without matting. You know what? I guess when I get the photos, it'll be clear to me. Definitely 4x6s, but whether I mat them on a 4x6, so I size the picture down slightly, or I just put them as 4x6 straight on, I really have to see the photos to make that decision. So, but anyway, here we are at this point. So it's still going to end up being this amount of space, no matter which way we look at it. Now I need to pick some kind of a title, and I have some of these I've got all my words, and I have some stickery things, but I think these might be too small. Unless I have Happy Day in there. Happy Day might be big enough. Thinking of You might be good enough. Doesn't have to be a huge title, just something that kind of gives a sense to the photos. Now these are going to be my husband working, so I've got a bunch of things that I don't really want to go glitzy because it's an everyday kind of activity. What else do we have here? Too bad that wasn't a different color. Get over it. Because there's lots of complaining. Let's see. Anything I have on here too flowery? Oh, that kind of looks cool. Note from our daily life, and I could put that. Let's see. Okay, I'm working on this a little bit. Let me cut this out because that just popped into my brain cell as being something that I could use. So let's pull that out. Okay, note from our daily life. What else do we have here? I don't think anything there is jazzing me too much. Now, I have a lot of stuff that is very sort of girl related, like fabulous, happy day. I could do happy day. Let's see. I don't really like the colors, but nope. Let's see. Spending time together. That could be something I could use. I would color it though, I think. Pull one of those out. This is what takes the most time in my creating is not so much the actual layout as the things that I'm going to put on the layout. So spending time, and that's scalloped. I could change that color, or I could put happy day, which is already black, but I don't know if it's going to fit in that well. I could put any of those stickers that I already saw, so let me get those out again. Where did I put those? Oh, here they are. So, those are kind of congrats with sympathy, happy birthday, just for you. Greetings, congratulations. Yeah, these now don't work with what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll put those away. Alright, we're almost there, guys. And then the finishing touches are probably just going to be wood elements. Wow, those are girly too. Lots of girly stuff. Not so much the boy stuff. Okay, I think it's got some of the burgundy in it. I don't think I like the burgundy, but that little butterfly could work. This will be outdoor working. And crafting stuff, sarcastic things. It's never too late to make things worse. Don't want to be negative. And what do we got here? Got some of these things. I found some old stuff from old kits and things, and I just kind of randomly threw them. If they had words on them, I threw them into my bag. These are old vellum pieces, so that's a possibility. Happy day, happy day. I hope I can get that on there if I want to use that. Now these are all, that's the wrong color. Hey there. Hilarious. No. Spicy. Goofball. No, you'd have to be super rad. Super rad dad. Use flash. Colors are very hey bro, but he's not my bro. No problem. Too big. on. Try it out. Pete's sake. Oops, my bad. Nope. Okay, nothing there. So, it's... Oh, I took one of my photos off here. Alrighty. So, I do like this. I am going to use this. So, let me take off the outer edge so I can really see it properly. There we go. So that's going to be in that corner. And I'm going to try, this is too squirrely whirly a shape. So I'm going to try the Happy Day. And see if that will fit in. So I'm just cutting off Happy Day, cutting it into 2 bits. So I can see what it will look like when I put it on there. Happy, whoa, that just fits. Day. Happy Day. There we go. That's not looking too bad. I think that might work. Alrighty, Happy Day. Then on here, I have some tags. Some little arrows, which I think are kind of fun. Enjoy this. Trying to keep this as monochrome as possible, as masculine as possible. And I think I have another black one that I can put there. I like my matching ephemera to be in sets of 3. Or odd numbers anyway. Oops. Uh-oh. Problem. There we go. There we go. Something like that. Enjoy this. Happy Day. Reiterating. And super fun. Oops. My goodness. There we go. I think I'll put this bigger one here. Super fun. Enjoy this. All right. So there we are. And then I have a spot where I can put a little bit of journaling. And it's not too feminine. Now, I just got to get it all stuck down so that I can take a picture when I go to put my photos on it. I will know where they need to go, according to how I was feeling today anyway. I may change my mind when I see it the next time anyway. those up later. Okay, so I'm going to put this down, but first I'm going to get those words on there as close to perfect as I can. Perfect in my mind, anyway. These are a little challenging because they are alrighty. So I'm thinking I might have them on a bit of an angle so they fit a little better. Happy. And then day. And there we go. This down so you can see. And I think I might also ink around the edges of this with my black ink that I happen to have just handy. So it pops out just a little bit more. And I'm just doing a little thin bit of edging, not trying to do too much. And in the scallops, I'm going to use a black pen. I have my black pen over here. Let's see. That's a fine tip. And that's a fine tip as well. Where's my big fat tip? There we go. Okay. So I use a brush tip for this just to get in the centers of it. From the back, it has a tendency to work a little better. Got some fuzz on there. And whoops, cap the black marker. You're getting it on everything. And I'm just going to stand up and try to, don't want it to absolutely line up with anything in particular, but I of course want it to be, there we go. Liking that. Alrighty, that's looking good to me. Now, these guys, I am just going to leave everything the way it is right now, so I can take the picture of where those photos go, and then I can tape down the super fun little arrow stickers when the photos are on there. So I use my camera a lot for this kind of thing. I want to make sure that I can remember what it looks like. Click, there we go. And that will keep the idea in my head, and then I just delete it out of my phone when I'm done. So now I want to take some repositionable tape. I do not want too sticky a tape. You can even use some washi if you want, but I like the repositionable. And this is kind of gonna go there, so I'm going to stick that down there. Take this guy out, and this is kind of going to go there. Take this guy out, and this is going to kind of go down there. I'm going to take that guy out, and now these guys are going to have a little bit of life of their own. Okay, so what if I had two going up and one going down? So this one's going up, that one's going up, this one's coming down. What about that? Yeah, makes it a little more active. So we're going to stick this guy in here, going up. This guy is going to go that way. And then this guy is going to be going down. Now, butterflies do have direction. So I am going to take my black marker and I am going to, this one is going to come out of here, go in a little loop. There we go. We have a little loop-de-doop happening there. And this guy is going to come out from here. Little loop-de-doop there. And this guy is just going to loop-de-doop in the bottom end. There we go. That just gives it a little something extra on that side. This side is covered with a card. Then we have our 3 cards going down. So I think that we are done with our finished photo page. All right, something a little different, something a little bit more for the guy in your life, and hopefully using up your scraps as usual. That is what we try to do. So hopefully we will see you next Thursday. Join us. Get your friends to log on. I'm still waiting for that 100th subscriber. And as I said, I would be doing a raffle for a designed card kit, my own design. And hopefully you'll be the person that wins it. So try and take off some of the light shine there. And there we have it. Your masculine layout made with scraps. Okay, see you next Thursday, folks, with something new. Bye.